questions today for the live session. And the first question is, what are the maximum number of grafts that can be extracted from the beard donor? Well, the beard has a lot of variables. There are a lot of variables like the density of the beard, the color of the skin of the beard, the area of the beard area where there is hair present. So typically about 800 to 1,200 grafts can safely be harvested from the scalp, from the beard donor, that is the shadow area of the beard. Shadow area of the beard is the one where the shadow falls. If the light is above, the shadow falls in the flat surface, that is the horizontal surface of the beard, under the jawline, under the chin, but not the vertical neck. So that is considered as the shadow area of the beard, and this area usually can give about 800 to 1,200 scalp grafts without any problem in a patient who has average density. Now, why do we restrict ourselves only to the shadow area? Well, in darker skin types and people who have a history of hypertrophic scarring or keloid formation, we would not like to be adventurous and go on to the visible parts of the face, like the cheek and the vertical part of the neck. So that is a huge no-no. One should never go into these areas. In darker skin types like South Asians, like Middle East people, like Africans, one should restrict oneself to the shadow area of the beard. However, in Caucasians and in those with fairer skin, and there are a lot of Indians also with very fair skin, we can also go on to the cheeks, to the sideburns, and many times the vertical neck. In so doing, we can harvest up to 4,000 grafts in the best circumstances. But there is a problem with the vertical neck. In the upper neck, that is the vertical neck, the angulation of the hair, that is the emergent angle of the hair from the skin surface, is very acute. It is flush with the skin surface. So when you make a punch, it goes in obliquely and leaves a long trail, a long cut, which is oblongish, which is elliptoid in dimension, and this causes a large, long trail scar. In most skins that are fair, it may not be a problem, but in cases which have darker skin types, if God forbid there becomes hypopigmentation results as a consequence of scarring, this will become extremely ugly and it's very difficult to hide. So this was the how many grafts can be taken out from the shadow area of the beard. So now we go on to the next question. During face-to-face consultation, can a surgeon detect that baldness is stable or not? Yes, one has to dive deep into the history of the patient, dig out his family history, dig out history about recent acceleration of baldness. Also, you would like to do certain examinations like trichoscopic examination. You would like to map the density of the scalp donor. You may like to do the pull test. And sequentially, over a period of time, take pictures of the patient, say after every 4 weeks, take pictures in similar lighting conditions to be able to make out that the patient's baldness is progressing or not. There are other signs by which we can know that the patient's baldness is not yet stable. And these signs are retrograde alopecia. Retrograde alopecia, that is baldness happening from the neck upwards or around the ears, thinning around the ears, which is very visible, is a short sign that the baldness is not yet stable. Then we can make out miniaturization. Miniaturization can be made out by trichoscopy. Miniaturization can be made out by examination under microscope. However, all this cannot predict future stability. If everything is stable, family history is also stable after the age of 35. But it only requires a strong trigger to set the process of baldness at a fast pace. Any triggering event, which we call as epigenetic factor like stress, like illness, and a host of other factors, can trigger baldness when the gene has gone to sleep overtly, can trigger baldness, and they could be held to pay if you do not have certain lifestyle changes in place. If the patient has not been guided to do certain lifestyle changes, the patient has not been guided not to do too much of exercises that are anaerobic in nature, the patient has not been guided not to take creatine, not to take whey protein. So these things are absolutely essential when you're dealing with a patient who is having baldness and a strong family history of baldness, especially if he is young. So an educated estimate can always be made about baldness stability, but you can never be sure that the baldness is stable. And that brings us to the next question: how much we should trim our hair before going for a consultation with the surgeon? Well, the hair should be minimum 2 centimeters in length, but the longer the better. The longer the hair, the better it is to assess the miniaturization, the better it is to assess the density of the hair, to get a feel of the hair, to get a feel of the direction of the hair. Also, when the patient has extensive baldness and we are running short of grafts, the play of light in long hair, the play of shadow and light in long hair will give us a chance of planning strategically where to put more grafts and where we can get away with lesser number of grafts. So to plan strategically for placement of grafts which are limited, the hair should be around 1 inch to 1.5 inch in length. The hair should never be less than 2 to 3 centimeters because there is not much data, there is not much opinion about balding, opinion about the donor area which we can make by hair that is this short. The next question is, sir, can I use saline water for my first head wash? Well, if the first head wash is taken at the 2 weeks mark, mostly the crusts have come off. But we would like you to use tap water, go under the shower, because with saline water you will not be able to make lather out of your shampoo. So if you cannot make the lather out of the shampoo, it will take more time for the crusts which are little belligerent, which are little holding on, which are stuck to the scalp to come out. We also need to maintain proper hygiene, and proper hygiene can only be maintained if the water is soft. It will clean better. So I would suggest that you do away with your saline. You can use bottled water instead, but do not use saline water in your first head wash at 2 weeks mark. So can body hair be used to correct over-harvesting in the scalp donor? Yes, body hair can be used to correct over-harvesting, and we do it all the time in FUT scars. The way we can revise an FUT scar which is broad is Z-plasty, W-plasty, and also by implantation of thick follicles, usually taken from the underside of the jawline and the chin, beard hair, and we plant them all along the strip to camouflage it. But still the strip, say a 1 centimeter width strip, if we plant about 350 grafts taken from the beard, it will still not be able to 100% make the scar imperceptible, invisible, or camouflaged. It will only be 60% less visible. The remaining visibility of 40% can be lessened by a process of scalp micropigmentation. Then why is grafting required? Because Grafting is required because if the hair, you're going to let the hair grow long, the hair have to grow. Dots do not grow. The dots of scalp micropigmentation will not grow. So therefore, a combination of SMP and grafting of beard hair into moderate sized, moderate width FUT scars goes a long way in alleviating the visibility. As far as FU scars are concerned, I would say that the best option is scalp micropigmentation. If you have baldness, and that's the reason why you have got your hair transplant done, and because FUE scars, if they are so bad, they will require a lot of grafts to cover them. And the result will not be any better than the result through scalp micropigmentation. And why use so many grafts for the scalp donor when your baldness is not yet stable? If you're young, you have many more years of baldness to go, and therefore you should conserve your scalp donor. Do not waste it. The next question is, does dandruff affect transplanted hairs after surgery? Yes, dandruff can cause infection. Dandruff can cause loss of hair which are going into the telogen phase and decrease the volume of hair on your head. But since the roots are deep inside, the root health is not affected by dandruff. But it is always better to take treatment which in the form of 2% ketoconazole, in the form of salicylic acid based shampoos. Keep your scalp hygiene proper, and this will will go a long way in alleviating the itching and the problem that you have. If you have seborrheic dermatitis, this can cause infection in the healing phase. Patients with seborrheic dermatitis are not fit candidates for a hair transplant till such time this problem is resolved. So those are the questions for the day. If you have any questions for the next session, live session, do let me know. Leave a comment in the comment section below and I'll get back to you. Have a nice day. God bless you.